Ashley, do you know the phrase about like looking at things from a new perspective?
Like what the actual like terminology is for that? Like there's some German word for it.
I mean, no, there probably is some German word. I just literally meant have you've heard of looking at things from a new perspective?
Right. Yes.
I am literally looking at things from a new perspective. I didn't move rooms. We just pivot around my bedroom basically. We moved the bed to a different place and we moved my desk so that I am now shooting into a corner. But now I get all my cool shit behind me. So like,
Hey!
yeah, I got my own little space. There are two things that are still coming. There is on my podcasting wall here, there is an always listening logo that is on the way. And there is a wooden sword that's going to be mounted below my Robin Hood frame color painting. I don't know what
Hell
you call that
yes.
thing, that work of art. Anyway, hello and welcome to my new digs. The Articulate Coven is the original, unofficial fan podcast and community for Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire, The Vampire Chronicles, The Lives of the Mayfair Witches, and The Immortal Universe from AMC and AMC+.
It looks great. Your lighting's really good. It looks
Thank
brighter.
you. I was worried about it, honestly, because the lighting in the room is now vastly different than it was before. I had a light off to my right before that that isn't there, but it worked out fine. I think this is going to be actually really nice. Hello and welcome to the Articulate Coven. We are the Articulate Coven. I'm your host, Joel, and this is your host,
Ashley. Hi guys, what's up?
It's not how we do that normally. I don't know. I got lost in the middle there somewhere.
Look, it's because you've got a different outlook on life. Like everything's different now. Everything's different.
Everything's coming up Millhouse, folks. Over here at Shayla Sharpton. What a weird movie we've got to talk about tonight, Ashley, first and foremost.
It's so wild. It's such a fucking wild ride.
It is so bizarre. Poor Things is the film. So this movie is from what, 2023?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always feel like it was just a year ago, but it's 2 years ago actually. 2023 film by Yorgos Lanthimos is the director.
I love that name.
Yeah, a co-production between Ireland, the United Kingdom, and the United States. Stars Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo, Willem Dafoe, Rami Youssef, Christopher Abbott, Jared Carmichael, Margaret Qualley, and they don't mention her, but Susie Bimba, a French actress that I'm going to mention when we get to her a little bit later in this film. But that's the topic for tonight. It's a movie night. I got a spoiler for you for next week. It's another movie night. We're going to kick off Merrick one more week. The close of the Merrick Book Club is going to go one more week. But this
because we
lines up nicely,
because we listened to the people, Joel, and there were demands made upon us.
There were a lot of demands, actually.
Like,
I got
come on.
I got like 4 Instagram DMs.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of comments on YouTube videos the last couple of weeks, and then multiple posts from people in the Facebook group about this subject, and then one just directly asking the question. Hey, this is a vampire group mostly. There's a real important and very widely praised vampire movie out in movie theaters right now. You motherfuckers want to do your jobs over there?
Go
see
watch
a movie?
It. Go see a movie. Go see a movie in the fucking theater? What?
So genuinely, here's one of the reasons why we don't do this. But we've never done it so far. We've never done a movie in the movie theater. First of all, no Anne Rice movies have been in the movie theater yet, right? And Nosferatu probably would have been the first time that we were doing it. Like we're doing other movies. We're in the middle of the thing. But the timing didn't work out. I think we were still doing Mayfair at the time that Nosferatu actually dropped.
We were doing Mayfair, I'm fairly certain.
Mayfair was doing us, maybe. Anyway.
Someone was getting done. I don't know how consensual it was either, I'll be honest.
So this would have been the first time to do this, I guess, really, where we had a chance to do it. And it turns out not only is this movie just something that you and I are both going to be interested in and are excited to see, but a bunch of our audience has already seen it, which is the other thing that we worry about sometimes with movie theater releases is like, wait until it's on streaming and everybody can see it.
Right. Where everybody has more access to it, it's a little easier to nail down,
But also, all y'all that have been to see it have been like, it's good. It's real good. It's like good. You don't understand. Go see it.
Like, even to the point someone was like, actually, you need to try to see this in IMAX. Like, that's how good it looks and sounds.
David Brown said, you ought to go see it in 70 millimeter, but I'm going to give you a break on that because there's only like 4 prints in the country or whatever there is. Yeah.
We'd have to travel to see it.
So Sinners, we're both going to see it this weekend or the early next week, and then we'll talk about that next week on the podcast. So look forward to that. Don't forget, patrons always get it early Sunday nights. For everybody else, it's live on YouTube and the podcast apps on Monday night, just like wherever you're enjoying this episode about Poor Things. So that's our very next episode, and then we've got the Merrick Book Club. We'll wrap that up. Then we're going to do our Nosferatu twofer, which leads us, I believe, then directly into our 100th episode live stream. The details are in the show notes, by the way, for this, but we're going to go live on May the 24th that evening. The time zone information will be in the show notes. I'm not even going to get into it again, but
it's very dramatic.
We're coming to you.
We're coming to you.
Like a whole different place
at a whole different time
in the day than we did the last time. So there you go. Yay. I've already heard from a couple of people that they were excited about the time shift. So the next time we do a live stream, we'll try to pick a different time in the day and make everybody available to come and hang out with us.
Weirdos are all over the place. Thank you. We love it.
Yeah, indeed. Right. Speaking of all over the place, we mentioned it last week, but I want to remind everybody here, and we'll be banging this drum all the way until October, excuse me. We're going to go to New Orleans this fall. Anne Rice's Celebration of Life is November 1st, All Saints Day in New Orleans. The location and the time and the pricing for that event still have not been announced, but we're going to be there that weekend. There is a block of rooms with our name on them, the Articulate Coven podcast at the Sheraton on Canal. It's a great location, honestly.
Location.
And it's a really good deal for the room too. So, and there've even like double queen rooms. So you could even split it with somebody if you've got a buddy in the Coven, or, you got some friends that are coming down or whatever. So check that out. The links are in the show notes, and all the information to take advantage of that is in the show notes. There is also a link in there. If you haven't already done so, fill out our poll. Tell us whether or not you're going to come. I have begun now. Ashley, I didn't even tell you this. I reached out today to the first venue for our live event that weekend. Yeah. So it's like a real thing. This one would be a very small venue based on the responses to the poll so far. This venue would hold like 35 people.
Right.
My guess is that the pricing on this place would be such that unless it's like we're required to buy you all dinner to have the building at all, then nobody would pay for it if you're a patron. And it would be a patrons first ticketing kind of thing, because we obviously more than 35 people might want to come.
Right.
But that would be what we could fit in this venue. If there are more people that respond to the poll between here and when I firm up this information with this particular venue that I'm looking at, then maybe we'll try to find a bigger one. But so go and answer the poll if you haven't already. Tell us if you're coming and if you'd like to be part of that live event. Even if you can't be there in person, whether in New Orleans at all or at the live event where we're going to record an episode, we will try to live stream it, honestly, if we can, if the signal's strong enough. And even if we can't live stream it, we'll put it out as an episode so patrons will see it right away that weekend, and then everybody else will see it that next Monday. Super excited about the whole weekend. I booked my hotel the other day. It is going to be so much fun. Kelly and I are actually staying in a place where we stayed before. We're going to have like a little balcony, which is like a whole thing for us. We really like to sit on the balcony and smell New Orleans, for lack of a better word, honestly.
Best. Well, and it's just like to be, you can just sit there and watch the city go by, and you can be Like, I don't know. I love it. I love A Balcony in New Orleans. It's pretty much the most perfect thing.
It's real good, y'all. It's real good. Anyway, so all of that information in the show notes, check it all out. And as soon as Christopher announces the date and times and pricing and etc. for the actual Celebration of Life, we'll get on that train too, and hopefully we'll see you all there. Lots
also,
of fun
that
to be
same
had.
weekend, there should be a ball. There should
probably be a vampire ball while we're there. Absolutely.
So that
I gotta tell you,
is on Halloween proper. So for those that are interested in that.
Yes, I'm not going to ball it up, Ashley.
You're not going to ball out?
It's not my scene at 43. Very frankly, I missed my window for the vampire ball. I'm afraid I had one, could have done one. I had the bleach blonde hair, and yeah,
I don't know. I think I missed my window. Could put on a fancy frock coat and off you go.
Speaking of fancy frock coats, Ashley,
the costumes in this movie are spectacular. So much shoulders.
Let's get into it and talk about Poor Things. Well, so first of all,
this movie's bananas. I love it.
You saw this pretty close to its release, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I would say it was out of the theater by that point for sure, because I didn't see it in the theater. I streamed it. And enough people had seen it that had talked about it that I had some expectations. So, and I wouldn't say that it met the expectations in the same way. Like, people were presenting it to me like it was like they thought probably the most brilliant movie they had ever seen. Now, I did not feel that particular way about the movie, but it fulfilled so many expectations that I did not have, so it, so I really, really enjoyed it at the time. And I was also like, it was so much to take in visually, and no one mentioned kind of like the fantastical elements of it, like how everything's sort of in this world, but not in this world, like the color is a little weirdly saturated and everything's kind of exaggerated and strange. And so it was like, I wasn't sure like where I was when I was watching the movie, if that makes any sense at all. Like, so it took me a while to wrap my head around like the fantastical kind of element and styling of it. So that kind of threw me a bit.
I told Kelly at one point while I was watching, first of all, I asked her repeatedly, I was like, is this one that you want to watch with me, or is this one I watch by myself? She's like, nah, go ahead and watch it by yourself. So I did. And I don't know, I'm halfway through it at one point, and we pass each other, we're talking to one another for some reason otherwise, and I was like, so this movie is like a foreign film, but it's made by a bunch of Americans and they all speak English in it? I don't know, man. It's a weird one.
It's strange. Like, it has a really strange vibe to it all across the board. But I
think the way you described it though was perfect, because it if you went into this thinking, like if I had watched this right after the Oscars, for instance, she won the Oscar for this, doesn't she? Yeah. Okay. I thought she did.
Absolutely.
So if I'd watched this right after the Oscars, I think I would have been slightly let down, because I would have had that expectation that it was just outstanding. Perfect example of this, I think. And I think when we rewatch it someday, she'll have a different reaction. Kelly was sort of let down by Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, gotcha.
The A24 film that came out a couple of years ago. I thought that lived up to the hype, honestly, but I did too. Absolutely understand it not hitting for her. Yeah. Because like you were saying about The Witch, it's in this cloud of like, oh, it's a life-changing film, man. And it's like, hey, look, every movie's not a life-changing film, actually.
Yeah. It can't be. It can't be. We don't have the time for that. Yeah. Also, sometimes we just need to have a fucking giggle.
Okay. So we rewatched the other day. We rewatched Dogma for the first time in years and years and years.
I fucking love Dogma.
So I have like an old copy that I have like ripped off of a DVD that I owned before it went into the memory hole. It is, for anybody listening to this, you can't get it for forever. It is currently, it's been rebought by somebody else. Somebody else owns it other than Weinstein now. And Kevin Smith is traveling with it currently across the country doing like Q&A sessions after the showing.
Awesome.
There's a 4K remaster that they've done. and it's going to be in movie theaters for a very brief period on June 5th. I think it's the same day. I believe that's the same day that the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out, which, by the way, I got one of them motherfuckers pre-ordered.
You got your pre-order done. Ding ding.
Dude, I felt like such a child the other day, and I genuinely, there's the meme, Ashley, from the Watchmen comic where Dr. Manhattan, who is this like cosmic being of infinite power, but also he exists in all time and space simultaneously. There's an image from the comic. Yeah, big blue dick. You're right. It's funny, the two things that each of us took away from that character primarily. Anyway, he's sitting on Mars and he's like contemplating, sort of like the thinker. And there's like 4 frames. And in the comic, it's something like, it is 1962. I am in this, atomic factory doing X, Y, and Z. It is 1982. I am in Brooklyn fighting such and such. It's 1972. I'm in Vietnam. It's talking about the fact that he exists in all time and space. Anyway, people are doing that very often now with like, I don't know, it's 1984 and I'm watching Dune and I'm loving the new Dune movie or whatever. It's 2024 and I'm loving the new Dune movie, et cetera, right? Okay. I did that the other day. I realized about Nintendo. I was like, oh man, my 7th birthday, we figured it out the other day. It was 1988. The one that I had was called the Action Set, and it was like the Zapper, 2 controllers, the double cartridge with Mario Brothers and
Duck Hunt.
Yes, and then the console itself, right? That's what I got for my birthday. I looked it up the other day, by the way, because I've been giving my mom and dad credit. I was like, yeah, the Nintendo cost $200 in 1980. No, it didn't. First of all, they bought that Action Set in 1988 for $109. Now, $109 in 1988 was a hell of a lot more than $109.
That'd get you a lot farther than $109 in 2025.
But it ain't quite equivalent to the Switch 2 prices that I paid the other day. Anyway, I got that one. I got the Super Nintendo for Christmas. I got the GameCube for Christmas. I got the Nintendo 64 for Christmas in between there. I got the Virtual Boy for my birthday one year. I got money from everybody so I could go to Toys R Us and buy a Virtual Boy and like 2 games for it. That was a badass system. It was just ahead of its time. Anyway.
Man, fucking Nintendo. What a bright light in our lives. I'm a big Nintendo
fan, man. Yeah, well, so look, it's like, why do I pay all that money and go to Disney on a fairly regular basis, right? Those are companies. They're just companies and they want my money, and I understand that. But they do, in fact, understand the idea of like a magical experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the value that has.
Look, listen, I have adult money. And if I want to buy toys or lightsabers or, swords, then I'm gonna.
I put them in the closet earlier, but I literally have Ahsoka Tano's lightsabers that I bought at Disney World a few years ago.
Princess Leia's right there.
I had to like rearrange them. Yeah, man. Like, I got it. Just as you said, I got adult money. If I want to buy toys, I can do it. Anyway, thank you for the adult money. articulatecoven.com/join. $2 or more a month gets you access to everything we do early and ad free.
Look, listen, you can help us buy something that brings us joy.
It also, though, genuinely, it will get you in line for that live recording. So go ahead and do that if you are so inclined. All right, let's get back to Poor Things here, because we were talking about Nintendo and I got really distracted. I'm super excited about that Mario Kart game, man.
It's fucking thrilling. I love a new system coming out. It's very exciting times for all of us.
I had no idea that any of this movie was in black and white. I didn't know that either. I was convinced that I was watching like a director's cut of it or something, like some other version. And I kept checking in Prime Video. I was like, I clicked the regular one, right? Didn't I? I think I clicked the regular one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, very weird.
I had forgotten that too. Like, I don't know. That's just like, it didn't stick with me at all as being part of the movie, but it's got that very Wizard of Oz kind of vibe to it. Like,
I did, though, knowing that I had seen color in the trailers, I assumed that this was going to be a Wizard of Oz situation.
Yeah.
And so even in my note, I said, or starts that way at least, you know. Okay, Willem Dafoe's makeup deserves its own discussion. So let's just start right there. The fucking mug on this dude. And my guess is we're going to see some crazy mugs in a couple of weeks in Nosferatu as well. But
oh yeah, Willem Dafoe's face is so interesting anyway. Like he's got such a fucking fascinating face. And I mean, I just think about him playing the Green Goblin and how that mask, he would look like the mask under the mask. You know what I mean? Like, and so I always think it's really interesting anytime his appearance is altered significantly, because he's so like, I don't know, he's just such a noticeable, recognizable person. He does not look like everyone. Not everyone looks like Willem Dafoe. Not everyone has that face. You know, he doesn't look like all the Hemsworth boys.
Yeah, man. And the way what they've done here, what's interesting is he looks like what we might imagine our Frankenstein monster is going to at least start like, right?
Absolutely.
In a Frankenstein adaptation.
Yeah, 100%.
And Bella, while, and we'll get to her look in a little while, it is interesting and very unique in its own way. She doesn't have any of that scarring facially like he does. He's literally a cragged man. Looks like he's been pieced back together.
And because he has, like, I mean, his father was like a real asshole and did fucking medical experiments on him, you know, like, shit, that is dark.
Okay, I gotta find the note because well, okay, I'll use this one first because this is a pretty good note all on its own. He was a man of unconventional mind. Dr. Godwin Baxter talking about his father. These comments about his dad come up all throughout the movie,
and they just drop some like little breadcrumbs, and it's always something horrifying, like something about his dick, something about his penis. I was like, he did what to your penis, dude?
It's so fucking funny because Willem Dafoe steamrolls past the comment into the next piece of dialogue, right? And the rest are,
and there's no emotion attached to it. There's zero emotion attached to it. It's just like he's delivering information to you, you know, like.
So what's interesting to me is to think about this honestly as a second generation. This is the son of Frankenstein in some ways, right?
Yeah.
And then the son of Frankenstein does a Bride of Frankenstein, I guess, you know,
ish. A toddler of Frankenstein. I don't know.
Okay, right from go, there's this scene where Godwin is doing surgery and Bella stumbles into the room. She's still got this like crazy walk. And Bella cut to, like, grabs a scalpel and like she's going to go to work. To which Godwin replies, "Just the dead ones for Bella. Only the dead ones for Bella."
Only the dead ones for Bella. Yep. Yeah. All of those scenes too are really funny when he's working in his laboratory, because there's, generally speaking, someone on that slab with their entrails out, and he's just very mild about it all. You know, everything is just fine.
Okay, but I will say, and I appreciate, as we talked about in last week's, or in the last movie night about the witch, I'm a fraidy cat, and I really don't like gore in particular. Right. This movie does a really good job of like showing us grossness and even like the squishiness. For instance, we see him carving a brain at one point.
Yeah, well, and
like
her
literally carving a brain up.
The corpse in the eyes.
Yeah, for instance, her stabbing the corpse in the eyes is one of the most brutal ones, I would say, in the whole movie. Anyway, there are moments like that for sure, a lot of them even. But I feel like
it's done so flat.
Yeah, it's not confrontational in any way. It's very much played like this is just a dark comedy.
Yeah, it's like nonviolent violence.
In some ways, and this is weird, y'all, but in some ways this is not that different than like Death Becomes Her as far as like the tone, right?
I agree. I thought this was much funnier than it had been sold to me as.
I mean, it's like, a Wes Anderson film almost.
Very fucking serious. And I was like, oh, this is kind of silly. Like, there's a lot of silly in this.
No, like it's almost all silly. In fact, you know, this is very much a like this is one of those, if aliens came down and watched human copulation, what would they think of it? You know,
Yeah.
how
This could
silly
have a
would
real
this all look?
Les Mis feel to it, and instead it is like we're just vibing along, you know.
Boy, I didn't think about I mean, yeah, this is what's her name? Is it Fontaine?
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah. Well, like the whole thing starts with her fucking trying to kill herself.
Yeah.
You know, like literally, this movie begins with a suicide.
Okay, we see pretty early on a dog chicken.
Oh my God.
And a goat duck hybrid.
The pig,
and I'm like,
the pig chicken really throws me. The
pig chicken later is the craziest because it's like licking Max's face, I think, or something when he wakes up.
Weird. It was so weird. Yeah, you see shit like that and you're like, I'm sorry, I'm supposed to take this shit like it's the most serious movie ever? I cannot.
Yeah, so I mean, like, go to the 90s, go to the late 90s and go watch Island of Dr. Moreau with Val Kilmer, right? So that's an example of them doing this, but like totally straight
really
and
seriously.
fucked up. Yeah,
and really fucked up.
It also will elicit laughs at times if you watch it today, but not purposefully.
Mainly because fucking Marlon Brando looks like he's been dredged in flour. I don't understand. Looks like we're gonna fry him like chicken.
Speaking of Marlon Brando, I did think, you know, you could name this movie, this is like Last Tango at Frankenstein's Castle. You know, it's like
I think Emma Stone is incredible in this. Like her performance in this.
Inside herself at one point, Ashley, and then we're supposed to watch a whole movie with this woman at the center of it afterwards, and we do.
We do. and enjoy it, have a good time. She's fantastic. But yeah, she'd put anything in her vagina. Like she's like, if it fits.
Late in the film. And again, like if you haven't seen this, take this as your, you know, final boarding call. It's on Amazon Prime right now. Like just pause this, go watch it, and then come back and listen to the rest of this. But late in the film, her actual husband, it turns out, is threatening her with genital mutilation. And she goes, I'll keep my old clitoris. Thank you very much.
I'll keep that to myself. Thank you. Share it with people who enjoy it. Bye.
Okay, I knew this was a movie about like sexual liberation.
Yeah.
I didn't think how much this movie, or at least Bella's journey in it, was going to align with like Charlie's from Flowers for Algernon, which is one of my like favorite novel experiences.
God.
You know, the journey that we take with Bella into like not just intelligence, but wisdom and experience and, you know, to me, the best thing about
even, you know, like,
yes, to me, the best single thing about the Harry Potter series is the one book. And now I can't remember which one. I think it's Order of the Phoenix. There's one when Harry is like 14 years old and he's such a dick in the book. Even though you're reading it from his perspective, you're like, I hate this little shit.
A shithead.
Why? Yeah. Why? God, it's because we're all shitheads when we're 15 years old or 14 years old or whatever it is. And it was like, that was the moment where I was like, oh, this series is really special because it encapsulates the advancement of this character and their friends to a lesser degree, but especially Harry. It really charts the growth of a human being into an actual individual, you know, right? From a little mirror of a human being to a full personality with their own ideas and thoughts and opinions and the whole nine yards. Anyway, this movie does that all in such an artful way and such an endearing way. Like you can't help but just love Bella. She is.
And you see her titties for at least a runtime of 30 minutes of the film. That is accurate. I'm fairly certain.
There is a lot of Emma Stone titty in this one. That's true.
So much Emma Stone titty.
There's a good bit of Emma Stone
presented
bush.
without comment. Presented without comment, which which I also appreciate. Like, that's the thing. And I had this conversation because I was like, I don't think that this movie is necessarily as empowering to me as it is for some other people, because I went through my time where I found myself empowered through my sexuality and things like that already, and I've kind of done that. And now I think there's so much more besides that that gives me power and that makes me feel, you know, that makes me feel the most like womanly I can be. Um and so I was like, there's so much more to us than just like like we should be able to fucking come, you know? But I mean, we should be able to. I think
And
that's
we should be able
we
to.
should be able
Yes.
to. But there's a lot more to becoming a strong woman than just the embracing your sexuality piece of it. But
Yes.
but I do get it and I do love it. I think this is such a fucking great fun story. It is awesome and incredible to see someone take control of their body in that way. And as an actor, as a performer, the way that she embraced this role and and presented herself without comment. She is not making any sort of commentary on Bella's behavior at all. Bella doesn't give a shit what Bella does. Bella's just reacting. She's just.
It's also, isn't it strange how they're able to make so much of this movie about sex without sexualizing her?
Right.
Really? Like,
it
she's
is
not
weird. It's
she's not
unexpected.
presented for the male gaze at all.
No.
Right?
Well, and so many of the guys are fucking morons, or dickheads or douchebags. And so, like, she doesn't
Or
even have.
slovenly and disgusting in a way that is like the point of the scene.
Like,
right?
I didn't want to see that dick, sir.
No, dude. Oh my God.
That
I forgot about that. The very
dick.
first time when she goes to cut on the guy, she plays with his dick first. I forgot about that because I kept thinking she's going to cut this dick off to start this movie. Like, that's how this movie is going to open. No, it does not actually. But
there's
still,
so many like dicks you don't want to see. These are not the dick pics you want. These are not the dick pics we're looking for. But I think that's another piece of it. Like, the sex isn't sexy. It's not like you're not watching this and think, oh, I'm going to go fucking tap my mouse after I finish this movie. Like, you're not,
no,
it's not a turn on. This movie is not a turn on.
This is not that movie at all. No, it's really, really not. It's the opposite.
In fact, if you bone after this, I don't know about you. I'm not sure.
The Witch is sexier than Poor Things is, honestly, I think. And that's saying something.
Yeah.
Okay. Early on, Bella begins to question to Godwin like her existence, which again, like, you realize we've started. First of all, I love that we don't see her creation exactly, right? Like, it's like sort of skip past, and it's part of the mystery of the thing, how it plays out. But she says, Bella Nowhere Girl, meaning, and she's asking like where she comes from, and he gives her a story which is nonsense. But then when questioned about that by Max, the assistant that he brings in, Max McCandy, which these names are a hoot, by the way.
I know. Aren't they ridiculous?
But Max asks him, he's like, you're not going to tell her like where she came from or what this is about? And he says, he asks about letting her out. You've got to let her out into the world or something. And he says, I've created a perfectly entertaining and safe world for Bella. Okay. It occurred to me more than halfway through this film. I think the point that Lanthimos is trying to make here is about the infantilization of women by men. Men, we want them both totally childlike and docile.
Yep.
And also fuckable.
Yeah. Docile is really important because that's controllable,
Docile's more important than fuckable, in fact, right?
Being docile make you more fuckable.
I mean, that's true too. Although, as we find out from the madam later, for some men, the point of it is that you don't want to. Again, like, some of it once you realize like not the trick, but once you realize like the agenda here of the film, some of it does come off a little heavy handed. But I always think about, I loved all of I mentioned Dogma already earlier, but I love those Kevin Smith films from the 90s. And one of the things that he always talked about was like, there are some real goons that like my movies, that come to my movies and laugh at Jay and Silent Bob, right? And I always just feel like if they're coming to that movie anyway, I ought to throw a little knowledge at them,
Learn a
you know,
little
while
lesson.
they're here. Just throw them a little learning if they can pick up on it, right?
Yeah.
This feels like that, like somebody watched this movie because they heard Emma Stone was naked most of it, right?
You get a surprise if you came in it for that, if you came to this movie for that, you'd be like,
well, I mean, I think they learned something is my point. Some of those folks,
her boobs, but do I want to see their boobs?
Mongo just pawn in Game of Life.
No, there's definitely learning to be done in this film for sure. And all of the cast of characters, all of the characters that, oh God, are you dying? Why do they put those holes so close together? Our breathing hole, where's the design flaw? Our breathing hole should not be next to our swallow things hole. You all right?
Oh my goodness. No, man, I got like lightheaded. Holy moly.
That was serious coughing.
It was so bad, Ashley. Like genuinely, I thought oh, I thought I wasn't going to make it for a second there. Like I couldn't get air.
I was like, do I need to yell for Kelly?
Like I'm going to die on air.
Oh God.
She's not even in the right room. She's in the other room. She couldn't even hear you through my headphone. You'd have to Facebook message her. Anyway,
Kelly, SOS.
Like Bella, here I am, arisen from the dead, though.
Joel, you got to quit having near-death experiences, please.
Reanimated.
No, I was saying.
Oh my God, where were we? Yes,
I was talking about all of the supporting characters that they meet along this journey that she goes on with Mark Ruffalo's character, who I fucking love. Ruffalo. I love Ruffalo.
He's so good
hard.
In this.
He's good in everything.
I mean, yes.
I mean, my God. I think the first time I really, really noticed him was in Zodiac. I don't think he had really been on my radar because I had never seen like 13 going on 30. I don't do a lot of the rom-com shit. But like I was like, holy shit, this man's amazing. Yeah. And you get the double dose of him and Robert Downey Jr. in the same movie. And then you get a bunch of that. Thanks, Avengers.
He's anyway, really something in this.
He's fantastic. But the characters, these weird ass people that they meet on this trip that they take around Europe are so funny. That lady on the boat, the lady on the cruise ship, and her like manservant were so fucking funny to me. And the couple that they're out at dinner with, when she just spits out the food and is like, I'm not putting anything gross in my mouth. Like, fuck it.
That's so okay. So wait a minute. That's so interesting. Do they say in the film that is her servant?
No, not at all. I just
like
assume that they have like
her boyfriend.
Oh, I assume that it's like a beneficial kind of part, like a hot pool boy.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, she talks about the fact that she doesn't really have sexual desire anymore.
Right.
But at the same time, yeah, I just assumed that was like her. I find you intellectually stimulating and visually stimulating, so I'll keep you around and in the style
definitely feels
you've
like
now
a sugar
become
mama
accustomed
stitch.
to.
A sugar mama stitch for sure.
Let's talk about some names for a minute. All right, Dr. Godwin Baxter, who not only does Bella call him God, which she called him God at first, and I was like, oh, wow, that makes sense because he is her creator, right? So that's interesting.
No, it's his name.
But no, it's his name, and that's what he, like other people call him God too, and he refers to himself occasionally as God. That tells us a lot about this Dr. Baxter, I would say. Don't you think?
Yes, yes. Yes. A different version of this movie is a straight up horror film. Like you could take the same script and scenario and film it entirely different, and it is a fucking nightmare.
So we talked about earlier how like Willem Dafoe will just like steamroll past some terrible atrocity that his father committed on him, and everybody else will keep talking, or he'll keep talking while everybody else is like reacting to it. But he's telling Max McCandles, which by the way, that's another one of our main cast, Max McCandles, played by Rami Youssef. He's wonderful in this too. Yeah. But he says he's telling Max what happened with Bella and how Bella came about. Max has been around long enough at this point. He's finally like, sir, what the fuck? You did something to this woman. What did you do to her? Yeah. Which, I mean, I think, Bud, by the time you see the dog chicken or whatever, the goat pig, the goat duck, you know what he did to her already. You know this is a Frankenstein situation. But he confronts him and asks, and Dr. Baxter's just like running it down, and finally he goes, "It was obvious." And Max goes, "It was?" He goes, "Yes, take the infant's brain out and put it in the full-grown woman, reanimate her, and watch."
And boy, did we. She really does capture that, like, that feeling of like a toddler or like a baby learning how to walk, and how fucking nightmarish they are when they're like staggering around, and to see an adult, like all those arms and legs. She's so like limby. She's got the longest arms and legs, so it's just like she's like this fucking crazed marionette trying to learn how to like fucking move around. It's so wild to me. It's so wild.
Well, okay, even her look. They all, first of all, everybody talks about how beautiful she is. Her name is Bella. So like obviously a reference to her being beautiful. And she is. Emma Stone's a beautiful woman. But she's got these fucking crazy eyebrows.
Yeah, they're bananas. Yeah, they're thick and dark, and they completely change her appearance. Like, it makes her look like almost an entirely different person.
It is so hard to see Emma Stone in this role, honestly. Like, genuinely, it's bizarre. Anyway, so we finally get this unveiled at like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes into the film. You're like, oh, this is a baby in her mother's body. It's like such a bizarre concept.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy to me. I wonder if this has ever been done in a Frankenstein movie before. I mean, that idea specifically, taking an infant's brain and putting it in the adult body.
Yeah, I don't know. This was new to me. I thought it was a brilliant idea, obviously. I would want to sit and watch too, Doc.
It was obvious.
Dr. God.
So pretty soon, though, after Max figures out and is explained what's going on here, Godwin goes, "You should marry her."
Yeah. We're just plant the seed right now by telling you should just absolutely do it. He's like, what?
It is interesting, though, that like Godwin, I think, understands. First of all, Bella at one point in the movie asks him to sleep there. Like they curl up and cuddle in bed, and he asks her to sleep there, and he says no, and he gets up out of bed. But it seems clear to me that he understands she's on the verge of a sexual awakening anyway, and he needs to lock that shit down.
Yeah.
And again, like
with someone safe and like he can control. Absolutely, he can control the situation. For sure. Because once she discovers that she can diddle herself, she's going to be having her hands in her pants an awful lot.
So Mark Ruffalo shows up in the picture. He's the lawyer that's brought in to lay out this arrangement that Dr. Baxter wants. And he literally says to Dr. Baxter, like, what a woman it must be to require such a binding.
Right.
Duncan Wedderburn, which again, what is he here to do? He's here to burn down the wedding that was about to be planned and perpetrated on this woman. And he does.
Fucking pun.
It's so fucking funny to me, though, the way that he actually sort of almost makes him, the character, I mean, Duncan, is almost appealing in his initial like first two little scenes.
100%.
You're like, oh, I get why she wants to run away with this dude. And then immediately all his flaws become apparent.
He's such a scumbag.
And then he turns into such a weasel too by the end of the thing. Like he's a fucking narc at the end of it even.
Fucking narc.
So anyway, like again, the range on this motherfucker, but the two of them on this movie, to me, it's Mark Ruffalo and Emma Stone, and to a lesser degree Willem Dafoe. Like Willem, first of all, doesn't have as much to do as the two of them, I don't think.
Right. No.
But also, the makeup is doing so much of the work here for Willem Dafoe. So Bella breaks Duncan's plan though, and just immediately goes to tell Dr. Baxter that she's going to leave. And Baxter's like, I won't let you go. I can't let you go. I love what she says. Kiss me and set me forth. If you do not, Bella's insides will turn rotten with hate. Again, like talking about the growth and like the maturity stages of life. Mm-hmm. There is that moment where it's like, okay, the thing that Kelly and I have talked about recently, for any of our children, there's basically nothing we can do to encourage them to have a romantic relationship with any one given person, or like to solidify a romantic relationship. All sorts of things we can do though to ensure that they stay with somebody we don't like. Right?
100%. Yeah. That's real easy to fuck up.
Yeah, 100%. But like, that's what this is. This moment, she says, like, kiss me and set me forth, or I'll hate you.
Yeah, I'm going to be resentful as fuck.
I'm going to stab your fucking eyes out someday, eventually, because that's the monster that you've created in me.
Yeah. I don't really know my limits. I don't really have a lot of like rules and cultural mores in my head. I'm not really going to follow the societal rules.
It is so interesting to me that the moment that Bella's world turns to color is when she first has sex. Like, first of all, of course, that's the moment that they were going to choose to do it in this film. But also, like, what a great metaphor for the way that feels in your life, right? Like, it does feel like, oh, I showed up in the adult world now. And like I know about the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus. Yeah. Right. Yes. Yeah. Anyway,
this is also, I think, for our Vampire Chronicles fan friends, you know, this is like a weird sort of version of Claudia, you know, like a child that's growing past. Oh, it's so fucking weird. Like a child developing quickly into an adult. It's all so strange. I love it.
It is a very weird story, man. Okay, so Bella says something hilarious here though after the first time. She says why, where is it? Why do people not just do this all the time? First of all, I like that Mark Ruffalo lays out, well, first of all, you've been fucked thrice by the very best. Like he's like patting his back already. Yeah.
Well, when you're the only person someone's fucked, you can really sell yourself as being spectacular.
This line also, though, reminded me of a good friend of mine in podcasting. There's a guy named Lance Anderson who just went into the Podcast Hall of Fame last year.
Oh, that's fucking rad.
Very, very cool guy from California. His studio burned down during the wildfires last year.
Shit.
Verge of the Dude is the name of the podcast that this was on. vergeofthedude.com. You can find it. I'll try to put a link in the show notes if I can remember it. But there's an episode of this show where he's telling a story about, I think it was like, he was like right out of high school or maybe right out of college, but I think he was in college or like college age when this story happened. But he was dating this woman seeing this woman, I should say, I guess, who was
they
like,
were talking.
Right. This woman was like 15, 20 years his senior. It was a cougar, as they would say in the parlance of our times. That they had sex at one afternoon, and they had been together for a while at this point, but they had made love, and it was like a hot, sticky, afternoon session, the windows open kind of thing, the fans on, but it's not enough. And they're both laying there postcoitally, blissfully. And he lets out some exclamation like, "Oof, boy, that was amazing," or something. And she patted his chest and said, "Honey, it's free and we can do it anytime we want." I think about that so often, Ashley, and that was what this line struck me. It's like, honey, is free and we can do it anytime we want. Yeah, man, why don't people just do this all the time? I love that revelation. Anyway, really good story. Thank you, Lance Anderson, for that. Link in the show notes. I'll try to find the actual podcast episode.
That's hilarious.
But even in this moment, though, where Mark Ruffalo is patting himself on the back, and honestly, rightfully so, he has clearly pleased this woman 3 times for the first time in her life, really, right? Yeah, thrice pleased her.
She's seeing in color now. My God.
Yeah, you want to talk about changing a whole woman's perspective. She says, is it a physiological problem? A weakness in men? Yeah, that they can't go again. He's like, I can't recover quite so fast. And she says, is it a physiological problem, a weakness in men? And I love the moment that Mark Ruffalo first, like literally for the first time in his life, confronts himself with the fact that, well, women can have sex an infinite number of times, actually.
Physiological problem.
Well, I suppose so. A weakness in men. I just love that he had to turn that around very quickly. So I think about now is the first time in the movie where we see the external stomach juices for the doctor.
God, yeah. That really threw me. I was like, what the fuck is that? What's this bubble shit? I was so confused.
When he throws his head back the first time, and then the bubble actually comes out and then it pops over the dinner table. And again, he just continues the conversation as if nothing is happening.
Completely normal. This is just dinner time.
Loved it. And again,
there's so little commentary or acknowledgement from anyone that essentially everything that's happening at that doctor's house is fucked up and insane. It's fucked up.
Yeah. Nobody ever mentions the hybrid animals, for instance. Nobody ever mentions it.
I feel rude for bringing it up, frankly.
Title. That's the title. I feel rude for bringing it up. Okay. The external stomach juices, though, are again because of his father. His father removed a couple of glands. Why did he do that? To see what would happen. It turns out that you need them, ideally.
Insane.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Bella gets drunk for the first time.
Oh, that's really great too. I'm like, boy, she is pounding that clear liquor, like pounding it. I was really glad they had her get drunk too, like, because she was drinking it with almost no reaction. And I was like, if she doesn't get face fucking hammered, I'm going to be really disappointed. Right. Like, she cannot have a magical power against
constitution of some sort. Yeah,
that would be fucking absurd. So I really love that she was just passed out on the fucking floor drunk.
She's not Wolverine or Captain America or anything. Yeah, right.
Exactly.
The metabolism is not so fast that the alcohol doesn't affect her. I love, though, and again, it is indicative of especially young people, but honestly, anyone who is drunk, the self-centered nature of your outlook in that moment. Duncan walks by, desperate because he doesn't know where she's been. She's been gone for hours at this point, probably, right? And she's laying in the
like
chair.
Having a drunk baby out on the streets of the town.
Yes.
I mean, she could be anywhere. She could be doing anyone. She could be, she could be putting anything in her. Who knows?
She's like laying in the chair like this, though, and he walks by and she goes, does your head ache too, Duncan Wedderburn? Because he's like, holding his head or whatever.
He's all stressed.
Okay, here's where we get our first mention, though. There's a woman that confronts her at this time and says,
yes.
Victoria Blessington, it's been ages since I saw you. If you're referring to me, you're referring correctly. My name is Belle Baxter. Oh, my apologies. And she walks away. But like, again, little breadcrumb. We've had one mystery solved in the nature of like, what is Bella? Now, where did Bella come from? Perhaps the story we were told was not true at all.
Right.
There's a really good line here. And again, like her delivery is just so spot on. She pisses off Duncan because it turns out that some old man gave her a fingering in an alleyway or something like that. Right. And she goes, what of the tongue play you were about to perform? Yes. Is that not happening?
Right. Yeah. No, that's what she said. He had licked her clit very fast.
Yes.
Very quickly, or something like that.
You can perform tongue play too, don't worry.
Don't worry. Plenty to go around.
Okay, here's the best example. This is the one that you mentioned earlier. You couldn't remember the line, but I wrote it down.
Good.
Here's the best example of this situation where Dr. Baxter is talking about his father just randomly. He says, he's explaining to Max how they have to remove sentimentality from this situation. And he says, do you think my father could have branded me with hot irons on the genitals the way he did if he could not put science and progress first? And he just continues with the point. And Max is like, he did what? I think that is literally the line. He did what?
Yeah, that's insane.
So he's a eunuch without like 3 stomach glands that it turns out you need, ideally. Man, this guy. Okay. The flies. Did you hear the flies whenever we start a scene with Bella?
No, I did not.
There are flies in the sound mix. I am like 99% certain. And we hear them until I would say at least about halfway through the film. They go away at some point. But I'm assuming that it is to remind us that she is...
She's dead.
Yeah, she's a dead thing, right?
Yeah.
Until she comes fully into her own, honestly, I think is the idea. Which again, like even that very idea, since this filmmaker is a man, is a little bit of him infantilizing the character of Bella, right? It's like she's not a real person. She didn't see in color until XYZ, whatever. But like Bella is Bella. I do think my concerns about this film missing its target, I think, were largely unfounded. I think it largely hits exactly what it wants to hit. The message is a little more broad strokes than I imagined it was going to be, I think.
There's a lot more of Emma Stone's titties than I expected. I say that with certainty. I was like, an Oscar nominee, my God. And then I was like, oh my God, there's so much titty in this for an Oscar nominated film. My God.
Man, I got to tell you, 30 years ago, Demi Moore was not treated with that sort of applause for showing her titties.
No,
it was was not welcomed by Hollywood. There was a little more Mel Gazy stuff in that movie, though. I will be fair.
And striptease, you think? Come
on. Okay. All of these stories about his father are fucking unhinged, though, and they just get better. Like, it's one of those things. It's like, it's funny the first time, and then it's like, oh, this is a gag the second time, and the third time is like, ha ha. But then like the 7th time he does it again, you're like, this is my shit. When he talks about some fucked up story of his dad, I am here for it.
I'm here for this comedic trauma dump. Please do it. What'd he do to you next? Did he cut off your toes?
So Bella makes some friends while she's on the ship. I love, by the way, though, she goes out and fools around for the first time on Duncan, and which is how she met Duncan, first of all, by the way.
Right.
Like, you can't break up a romance and cheat with someone
and then be surprised
like,
that it happens
super
to you.
Surprised. Yeah. Anyway, but he freaks the fuck out, chloroforms her, I believe, and puts her in a trunk, doesn't he? Yes.
Puts her in a fucking trunk.
and then loads her onto a boat.
He takes her to a second location,
a
y'all. We've discussed this. You do not want to go to a second location. This happened to be a nice cruise
to a
ship
second location.
with a
It
casino.
does seem like a really nice cruise, right?
Oh, yeah,
like lots of friendly
a bougie,
company.
like river cruise. Like, yeah, I like it.
So she meets her friends Martha and Harry Astley.
Yes.
Which are both amazing. These are the pair that we talked about earlier. Like maybe it's a manservant, maybe it's a sugar mama. I don't know, but a very cool pairing. These two.
Yeah, very, very good. Very good. He's fantastic.
I love though. Oh, Harry Astley is so great and it's a small role, but he so turns the world on for Bella, right?
Yes.
And like, haven't we all had that person in our life who, and it's not even, you don't want to be as cynical as they are, but you need to be exposed to that sort of cynicism and realism so that you can course correct on your own life.
Well, and also it allows her to give words to what she's probably already feeling and experiencing. She just hasn't met anyone like him yet, and so this is allowing her to, like, it's giving her verbiage for how she's feeling, or like when she's smelling bullshit, this is giving her verbiage to understand it and describe it.
It's giving therapy. It's giving self-actualization.
It is. One of my favorite parts of this whole section is when Mark Ruffalo's crazy ass tries to drag that woman off the side of the boat.
God.
So fucking unhinged and hilarious. Like, the physical comedy in this is very, very great. Like, the physical commitment everyone has in this. The dancing scene is so hilarious and weird and fucked up.
Okay, back up before that though. When she first gets out of the room and the deckhand is throttling the seagull, take a shit on me, will you? And he's literally like choking him, and then he like throws him off the side once he realizes Bella is there.
Yeah, she's gonna need words to describe this weird shit she's seeing out in the world.
She discovers poverty and cruelty. She has experienced cruelty, but she didn't have the language for it until she meets Astley and Martha, and she reads these books. She begins to read. Ashley, do you remember your first philosophy book? Like, right? Like the first time you read some, I saw a really funny clip with, who's the poet who wrote The Revolution Will Not Be Televised? Gil Scott Heron. I saw a clip with Gil Scott Heron the other day where he was talking about This Must Be Deep.
Awesome.
This Must Be Deep is, I understand all of these words individually, but this sentence as a whole does not make any sense to me.
This must be deep.
This must be deep, right? And it's like the first.
I love it. That's
level.
Brilliant.
There is a really great example of that in season 1 of Severance, and that's all I'll say about it. But if you're a Severance watcher, you know the reference there too. But I think that is some of what's happening here to her, is like she's getting a little pretentious almost because she's ahead of herself, right? Like my dad told me this thing one time, like a freshman doesn't know and they don't know that they don't know. A sophomore doesn't know and they know they don't know. A junior knows, but they don't know they know. And a senior knows and they know they know, right? And that's sort of simplistic and stupid,
right?
But also it is the way that development happens.
Journey, yeah.
Yes. And in this moment, Bella doesn't know that she doesn't know, right? Like she's seen wisdom and she's like, oh, I have it all. I have philosophy now.
Yeah, she's discovering other things that interest her besides sex.
Yes,
which is also good
for the first time,
and very good and healthy for her. I want this journey for you, Bella. Let's read a book, shall we?
I love the moment, by the way, where Duncan comes and throws her book off the side of the thing. So Martha just hands her another one, and then he throws that one off. And I think, doesn't she hand her one more? I think she hands her 3. Anyway,
3's the way to be.
I love the idea that Martha has brought effectively an unlimited supply of intellectually stimulating books, novels, and otherwise.
Not only to enjoy for herself, but to share with friends.
Yes, exactly. That's what a book is for, my friend. Oh man, okay. Harry's got a great line here though, when she sees these like slave pits basically, or whatever that she's looking down into. he says, hope is smashable. Realism is not. Protect yourself with the truth. Oof. Again, that's not who we want to be, right? But we need to meet that person. We need to have that experience, I think, in life so that we can course correct and do, like, okay, we can't have all the anxiety and I can't fix all the world's problems, but I do need some of the anxiety, actually, and we do need to fix as many of the world's problems as we can in our time, given our resources, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? But like, anyway, I love this fucking journey for her, and it is so cool to go on it yourself if you just like buy in. You know?
It really, I actually really, I loved this movie when I saw it the first time. I really loved it. Because it was really unexpected. It just was not what I expected it to be.
Me either.
The second viewing, I loved it even more because I was able to like wrap my head around what was happening earlier. Like I wasn't so like thrown by the style of it. So I was really able to kind of jump into the narrative and accept everything for what it was more quickly. And so I really, really enjoyed this ride more than I did the first time.
So Bella goes into business for herself.
Yeah, she does.
In Paris. She meets Catherine Hunter playing Madame Swiney. I love this actor, first of all, but I love the character as well. British American Catherine Hunter, actress and theater director, known probably primarily for her appearances as Arabella Figg in the Harry Potter series. She's also, though, in the Disney Star Wars series Andor. She's Edie Karn in that series.
Speaking of, the first 3 episodes of the new season
of the season 2 is out.
You guys,
is it so great? Okay, so I haven't started it yet. I'm going to make myself go back and rewatch the first season and watch it.
You want to do that
go
first.
All the way through. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that show is so much better than it has to be being a Star Wars show.
It's so good.
The quality of the storytelling is just genuinely amazing. Like
the first 3 episodes of the season are mind-blowing.
The first season came out, I think, while the first season of Interview with the Vampire was coming out, or around that same time.
Yeah, I think so, because I was like, there's so much awesome I'm watching right now.
Yes, it was really a moment, which again, like we got Shogun with season 2 of Interview with the Vampire too. So anyway, good stuff all around. All right.
Sidebar. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah, no, Catherine, though, I do want to mention this specifically. She plays the 3 witches in Joel Cohen's The Tragedy of Macbeth, which again is one of those things. One weekend when you get a free Apple TV weekend, or you buy a new phone and you get a month of it for free or whatever, watch The Tragedy of Macbeth. Joel Cohen did it. It's black and white. Denzel Washington is Macbeth.
I haven't watched that yet. I really need
what
to.
is her name? Joel's wife. God, she's from Fargo. You know who I'm talking about.
I can see your face right now.
Frances McDormand.
Frances McDormand.
Goodness. Frances McDormand plays Lady B, and it's just fantastic. It's in 4:3. It's in like the old square format, and it's black and white too, and it is just tip-top Shakespeare adaptation. But Catherine Hunter plays the 3 witches in that, and she's amazing in that. That's what I remembered her from. I had honestly forgotten that she played Arabella Figg. She's great in this movie, though, and again, like a really interesting character. It's like it's different than the other milestone moments that we've talked about so far in somebody's life, but it's like that first time you get a decent boss, like a boss that cares about your development. You know what I mean? Like, she is in business for herself, and she's not spoiling Bella in any way, really. And she nibbles Bella because Bella's so beautiful sometimes.
So wild.
She can't help herself. Which is obviously an HR violation.
For my lobes.
Yeah. Well, she bit the shit out of her ear that first time.
She did.
I drew blood. I'm sorry. Can I just say, though, I absolutely get Catherine in that moment. I also have seen some earlobes that I needed to bite sometimes, so I feel you.
A little nibble.
every now and again, Kelly will go like, ow. I'll be like, I do a podcast about a vampire show. I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to bite you
so
sometimes.
hard, Joel.
Yeah, right. Okay. So she meets Madame Swiney. She has the afternoon. She makes some money. She goes and spends her money. And by the way, sharing from moment one, right? She buys Duncan a pastry too, and is going to pay for their hotel room. Clearly, like that was her plan. I'm going to go get money for our hotel because he says
what I did.
we can't afford one.
Awesome.
Right.
I got us money.
So she comes and tells him this, and he immediately says, I look at you and see nothing but ugliness. And again, this is one of those moments I love to see the development of Bella. She goes, that last bit was uncalled for and makes no sense, as your odes to my beauty have been boring, but constant.
Yep. If not brutally fucking honest.
Okay, this made me think, though, of like every Instagram model or OnlyFans or person or sex worker or whatever whose DMs are effectively like, send me them titty pics, and then it's just a screed of hate after they get a no on the titty pic request. You know, oh, you're a fat ugly bitch anyway, I hate you, you know, whatever. Yeah, that's why you were so desperate for the titty pics a minute ago. That's why you're already paying me $7 a month for my OnlyFans, asshole.
We know.
We got your number. I got the email address in the back end, like, right? Yeah. Anyway, that's very much what Duncan comes off as here. And it's such bullshit.
Well, it's fine to like fucking fuck her and take advantage of her and whatever, but like, God forbid she take any sort of agency about herself and her body, you know, make some choices for, you know, whatever.
I love, though, that she's been a brothel worker for like 15 minutes and she breaks the whole fucking system immediately. She figures out positive sex work. She cracks it right there in the 1800s or wherever we are. She says, it's a memory. You give me a memory. I tell you a joke. Then a sniff. Then perhaps a dousing in lavender oil. And it's going to make this all much more pleasant for both of us. Yep. Also, the first step is let the girl choose the man, because that'll inspire enthusiastic consent. And look, enthusiastic consent can come in lots of ways, right? Is the money right for that particular worker? Then it doesn't matter quite so much that you're large and revolting or whatever. I like a dad bod, right? Do I like a small penis? Maybe there's a lid. Do I for like every a guy pot.
I can be mean to?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Whatever.
Yeah. So, but she's so right. She just nails all of this.
It does. It gives them as workers way more agency, you know, like they're definitely puts them in control, and that makes it safer. See, like, look what we could do with sex work if we acknowledge it as work.
Well, and it works on the first guy she tries it on. Like, he gives her a memory about crying when he cut himself on his bicycle or something, and then she tells him a joke and he laughs. He has a real good go at it, and then they have pretty good sex, actually, and she really enjoys it. I just love it. She says, you smell okay, let us fuck.
Oh, the dialogue in this is so fucking funny. It's just hilarious.
Okay, I mentioned her earlier, but here she is. Susie Bimba as Toinette is the character's name.
Yes.
A great smaller role in this piece, kind of like Rick Astley. So Susie is a French actress. Let's see. She's known for her appearances in Poor Things and Homecoming and Kendisha. In January of 24, she was featured on Unifrance's 10 to Watch. She was also included in the European Shooting Stars program at the 2024 Berlin International Film Festival. So an up-and-coming actor, and I think it's obvious why. She's great here. Again, a small role, but like, it shows the development of Bella. Bella brings in a peer for the first time into her circle, right? Rick, not Rick Astley. What was the guy's name? Rick Astley is the fucking, I rickrolled myself. His name is Harry Astley. Harry.
Did you say Rick Astley a minute ago? And I was like,
I guarantee you I said it. Harry Astley and Martha are not peers to Bella, right? When she meets them, they're friends, but they are elder and higher status, both of them, than Bella is. Toinette is a peer, and also she's compelled by Bella as a personality and as a person, and also she's into Bella romantically. It turns out later we get a little carpet munch in there. Doing a good job from the sounds of it. It seems, yeah. Again, something for everybody in this film.
Something for everyone, but if you fuck after this movie, you're a little weird.
Okay. I love that Duncan turns Renfield for her. That's effectively what happens to him if you think about it, right? Like he's in the madhouse.
He just goes
he's
fucking
cursing
crazy.
Max McCandles. He's literally raving. And it's because Bella has driven him insane with her unpredictability and the fact that she won't fit into any of these boxes, you know, for him. But also he can't do without her. Like that's the thing. If he could just write her off as a whore, it would be fine. But he can't because she's still so fucking compelling. Why do I love this whore? You know,
why is she so interesting?
Yeah, first of all, you take the fucking note, like hear it in yourself and go, oh, maybe there's nothing wrong with her because of this life that she's chosen and these things that she's done. Like,
or even if it's like, shit, it's just something she had to do for like 20 minutes to get you guys out of Paris.
To get these pastries.
Fuck down, dude.
Hey, why don't you think about taking a shift there, Mark?
Yeah. She's not cutting her hair and crying while she's singing. I think we're doing okay.
You got two good forearms, Mark. Come on. Come on. Get to work. All right. So Godwin is dying of cancer, which we get this strange fucking surgery scene where he's poking and prodding on this tumor. And then he's like, sew me back up. There it's spread. There's polyps already. How do you tell the patient? Ha ha ha. Don't cry into my wounds. You'll kill me of sepsis. But Bella's got to go home now and confront and say goodbye to her maker, basically, which again, like I knew something would bring them back together. I was not honestly expecting this. There's some really lovely things though here in the beginning when she comes back. She says, you are ill. And he says, I am not, I am dying. A subtle difference, but I take seriously as a physician. That was great fucking dialogue throughout this thing. But she has pieced together enough to know that her origin story is not what she was told.
Right.
And she wants the truth. And again, such a great line. I come with beady eyes and hard questions. And it's like, boy, don't we all eventually come for our parents with beady eyes and hard questions, right?
I mean,
like fucking that's so perfectly said.
You got 4 sets of beady eyes at your house, Joel.
I got fucking 8 beady eyes and lots of hard questions coming my way someday. It's a lot of them. Okay. Meanwhile, though, when she comes, she discovers this. We've already seen this in the film, but they've made another one, Ashley.
Yeah. Yep. They have. Margaret Qualley, who is adorable. I enjoy her so much.
She's really good in the role too. Much less to do, obviously, than the rest of the cast, but still, she does some really interesting choices. And it's also compelling to me how like they really seem to have targeted somebody that looks like Bella a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you take what body the universe gives you, Joel, but
is that what they did?
You can. Oh.
See, I don't know that that's what they did exactly. I don't know. Yeah.
I didn't consider that.
Yeah. I mean, we don't see it. It happens off screen. They just say, let's find a body. They don't say how they're going to go about it. And Max at that point seems to be going along for just about anything. Again, surprised at the assertion that they're going for a body, but not arguing.
Not enough to say, no thanks,
with
I'm
Baxter.
out.
Yeah. So when Bella confronts Max about that, though, you made another one. He goes, we missed you. As if that's fine. I could just replace you with another woman forced into a different life than she had chosen for herself. Like,
yeah, I put a dumb baby brain in this lady too. Let's see how it goes.
Bless. Okay, so Baxter's got a good line here. He says, my father told me always carve with compassion. He was an idiot, but it's not bad advice.
Yep.
Okay, so General Blessington shows up and he's going to ruin the party for everybody because it turns out that Bella is already married.
What the twist? To an asshole.
I genuinely did not see this coming. My assumption, and I think this is the way that the film leads you, is that it's an unwed pregnancy, and that's the reason why she jumped off the bridge, right?
Yeah, that's definitely the vibe you get.
Not an unwed pregnancy, very wealthy pregnancy.
This asshole.
He's just dictatorial and terrible and cruel. And just a real shithead in a film, by the way, that's already been populated by shitheads largely, right? Like there's plenty of them along the way. As sweet as Max is also a shithead because he's complicit in all of this.
They're all a little shitty. Yeah, it's that was a big twist for me. I was like, oh, holy shit. I also get the vibe that maybe she was an asshole.
Probably, yes. Probably
not in the same way, but like maybe it was not the version of herself. I think she would probably find herself more comfortable in this version of herself she has become.
Yeah. Okay. So Bella as an adult would not have had a healthy relationship with either General or Vanessa Blessington. Right? Like she would not have gotten along with either one of her parents, as it turns out. Right. And I think honestly, in some ways, that insinuation or that hint that maybe also Vanessa was a douchebag in her own right, it sort of like absolves Bella of any concern or ethical problem of having her mother's body, right?
Yeah, like I don't have to stay here. I don't have to stay in this, you know.
Yeah, I don't owe Vanessa actually anything, as it turns out, and so I'm gonna deuces. And he's like, "Well, I'm gonna shoot you," and it escalates pretty quickly. She's got a great line there. She says, I am flattered that you're trying to trap me. You aren't the first, by the way." You know,
someone put me
like
in a trunk of like 20 minutes ago.
Well, here's what's funny though, is like technically he probably was the first to trap Vanessa,
right?
But not for Bella, right? Bella has experienced this already. So we mentioned it earlier, but Blessington's plan is he's going to have her genitally mutilated. He's like
her being uncontrolled. Like apparently she was running around on him.
Maybe
even as herself, even not as Bella, but as Vanessa. Presumably,
she was at least hysterical sexually. Her needs were more than he wanted to deal with,
and that's what was causing problems for them in their marriage.
So the two things that I do think are partly the body that we see like peering through Bella's experiences are that I think her sexual appetites probably do come from the body, from Vanessa, but also I think the aptitude towards the medical field might come. Like, again, I think part of the lesson that we're supposed to walk away with is in a world where Vanessa wasn't trapped and was given opportunities of education, et cetera, she might have been a brilliant doctor in her own right. She was never given that opportunity. Bella is, through this weird, experimentation by Dr. Baxter.
And I think too, maybe it's a question of nature versus nurture. She is growing up in this household where surgeries are being performed in front of her daily, you know, and like there's some weird medical shit always going on. So she's around that. She says like she's very comfortable and happy when she's in the OR, basically. She loves it there. She likes to be watching surgeries and things like that. So I think it does give a little point to the nurture aspect, even though nurturing is air quotes here.
Well, okay, that's what I was going to say. I think one of the biggest takeaways from this movie is that even a truly abusive, sort of fucked up parental situation can result in a self-actualized child, right? And let's look at that in a positive sense from both directions.
Absolutely.
Hey, have you sort of fucked up your go as a parent, and mostly your children are grown now, but like turns out you realized you weren't the wonderful doting parent that you thought you were? That's okay. Well, first of all, your chances aren't over if you're still listening to this and you're still around kicking. But also, like, your kid might figure it out in spite of you, right? Or because of you, in that they just take it on themselves to not do that, to not be like that, whatever, right? But you as a child too, who had a parent who wasn't there in one way or another, like, okay, well, like, let's start today and just be different. Like, let's work on seeing the world from this better perspective that Bella finds. Man, I love the fucking resolution of this. Like, I loved she throws the chloroform in his face and knocks him out, and then puts a goat brain inside that motherfucker.
So funny.
Perfect.
And he's just goating around the yard. And she's got her fucking lady friend with her, and she's got her gentleman friend with her, and all the crazy barnyard animals that Daddy made.
It's a good life for Bella at the end of this. I like
she's going to med school. She's going to be a fucking doctor.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I love that she gets a happy ending. It's very rare for a Frankenstein movie to end with a happy ending, right? But kudos, she does. She does.
She does. Good for Bella.
I didn't even think about the sexual
happy ending
double entendre there yet, but yeah, there you go.
I just became a 14-year-old boy about it.
I mean, I don't know. I guess 14-year-old boys would probably find this movie stimulating enough for sex after it, but not the rest of us.
No,
like, it ain't that kind of film, y'all.
It's not there's a lot of titty, but it's not a porn.
I do wonder if Sinners is going to be a little bit kind of that kind of film, though. Oh. I don't know. I don't know enough about Sinners. I'm so excited to see it. So excited to see it. Well, Ashley, do you know Dave Maldonado from your time at Blue Jacket?
That name
That's how I know him.
Familiar.
He's an actor.
But I don't
he's based in Texas. He is in Sinners. He's got a role in Sinners. That's the reason I brought it up. Yeah, we'll talk about him next week when we talk about that movie. I'm really looking forward to seeing it. If you're watching this one, don't forget that you can get that one and every episode early. If you join at articulatecoven.com/join, you'll be the first to know when we lock down a venue for our live recording in New Orleans, the weekend of All Saints Day. Sorry if you're hearing my dog bark in the background there. Somebody is knocking at my door, I think. Anyway,
a visitor.
I love this one.
Yeah, I love this movie. Very fun.
I'm going to check out a couple of his other movies. Kinds of Kindness was the one that came out last year. And then I'm fairly certain he's got a new one with some of this same cast again, honestly. Kinds of Kindness have several of these people in it again.
Yeah, I knew that there was some crossover. I always like that move.
I think they maybe even filmed them back to back, maybe even or something. So anyway, thank you to everybody who suggested this one. Thanks to everybody who watched along with us. And I'm looking forward to your feedback on what you thought of this one too. Next week, it's all about Sinners. So if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out in movie theaters. Turns out a lot of y'all saw it, actually. Yeah. So
we'll catch up.
Kudos for that. We'll catch up this week, and then we'll all
popcorn
talk about it next week. I got so excited. I'm gonna have a popcorn and an icy, and that is my jam when I'm really gonna go enjoy a movie.
A Coke Icy is like my hangover cure too. If I'm hungover,
it's a good one, man.
A Coke Icy and some salty ass French fries.
So until the next time we talk to you about Sinners with Michael B. Jordan, dose Michael B. Jordan's. He's pulling a Jean-Claude Van Damme and Double Impact there.
We love it. Twice as nice. Twice as nice with way less domestic violence.
This is going to be a big topic for next week because we'll know some more numbers by the time we discuss it. But I am so excited for what Ryan Coogler's deal for that movie is going to do to Hollywood when it becomes a big smash hit, which it looks like it's going to be. So kudos, Ryan, and Ryan's agent. On
I love him.
Collecting that bag, as the kids say. Kudos.
Flowers.
Yeah. Y'all, we have been your hosts. I am Joel.
I'm Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven. Thanks for listening to The Articulate Coven. If you enjoyed the show, check out our groups on Facebook and Discord. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Or find us at articulatecoven.com and wherever you listen to podcasts.